Hallelujah, hallelujah, big Burata. Hallelujah, of good love. Hallelujah, 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 betake a shofar. Hallelujah, hallelujah, b'nei vel v'chinor. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. B'tov umachol. Hallelujah, hallelujah, b'minim ve'ugav. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, b'tov umachol. Hallelujah, hallelujah, b'minim ve'ugav. Hallelujah, 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 b'tzil salvation. Hallelujah, hallelujah, b'tzil salvation. Kol hanshamate hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshamate hallelujah, hallelujah. Page 104. Nishmat kahochai tvarech shimcha Adonai Eloheinu. The breath of all that lives praises you, Adonai our God. God's never off duty. Mitzrayim Galatan, Adonai Elohim, based on what I'm pretty son there. Page 105. Okay, worship you like the bundle. Ruach and Neshama Shanafak the Bakinu. Hein Hein Yodu before Shaku before. Me Milach Yishrach Yarach Lach Oel Gidol Yibor Manora Elo Yam Kaneshamayim V'Arbretz Allah Shabeka Chon Fower David Barki Nafshi Adonai V'Chol Kravai Et Shein Kadsha Chagibor Netzach Panora B'Norotecha Hamelech HaYoshev Al Kisei Ram B'Nisa Shochein Ad Maram V'Kadosh Shemo B'fi Yisher Tithalal B'Risadikim Titbarach U'B'Shan Chasidim Titromam U'B'Kerev Kedoshim Riverboat Beit Yisroel. Last two lines of this page. Al Kol Divrei Shirot V'Tishbechot David Ben Yishai Avdecha Mishichecha 106. Yishtabach Shemcha Avad Malkeinu. Barachot v'hodaot me'ata v'yad olam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'tishbachot. El haodot Adonai niflaot. Avachei b'shirei zimra. Melech el-chei. We're in 107, lines 3 and 4 together in Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Yotzer or uvorei choshech. Oseh shalom uvarei hakol. Hakol yaducha v'hakol yishabchucha. All declare there's nothing that compares to God. אין כי הכחד ואין סולת כמכנו חי עולם הבא, אפס בתוכו עלינו לבד כמשיח, כי נקבל לך משיחנו בתחיית המתים. Page 108. El Adon Achal Hamasim Baruch Varach B'chi Kol Neshama Gadlo B'tuva Malei Olam Da'at U'Tfuna Asel B'Bimoto Hamid Goel Chayot HaKodesh Nor B'Kavod Al HaMerkava Zachut U'Mishor Lifnei Chisel Chesed V'Rachamim Lifnei Kavod Elohim Yisroram V'Da'at V'Vino V'Haskel Koach U'Gvura Natan V'Liyot Moshe B'Kerev Tevel Meleim Ziv Ufikim Noga Noah Zivam B'chol Ha'olam Semechim B'tzeitam V'sasim B'voam Osim B'yein Maritzam Konam P'er Notim Lishmot Ha'olam Verina L'Zikr Malchuto Karam L'Shemesh Zvayiz Rachor Ra'a V'Hikin Surat Halvana Shevach Noglimo Kol Tzivamara Tiferet U'Gedula Seraphim V'Yofanim V'Chayam HaKodesh Lai 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 Move ahead to page 110. Yiparach Serenu Malkeinu V'Gohalenu Borei Kedoshim. Kulam Ahuvim, Kulam Berurim, Kulam Giborim. V'chol Osim B'yem Avira Ritzon Kaunam. V'cholam Pavim V'piyem Mikdusha V'Torah V'Shur V'Zimra. V'Mevorchim, V'Meshapim V'Foarim. Aritzim V'Makdishim V'Mamlechin. Et Shem Hoel Anachar Yadol Gibar Menorah Kadoshu. V'cholam Mekabel Malachat Shemayim Zeh Mizeh V'Nofim Rishut Zeh Lazeh. Aishiyos V'Menachat Ruach B'Saf V'Rovni Makitosha. Plum Yecharonim V'Yomrim B'Yira. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzvaot. V'Lo Chol Ha'aretz Kivoto. Seraphim. V'Yomatam V'Shapim V'Yomrim. Baruch Kivod Adonai Mimkomo. Liel Baruch Ni'imot Iteinu. L'melech Al Chai V'Kayam. Smirot Yomeru Tishbachot Yashmiyu. Kihu Levado. Ho'el Givurot. Oseh Hadashot. Baal Milchamot. Zoreyat Tzedakot. Matzmiach Yeshuot. Morei Refuot. No Ratzahila Dadon Haniflaot. Hamechad Deshbetu V'Bechoyom Tamid. Maseh Bereshit. Amur Liosei Orim Gedolin. Ki Li'olam Chazdo. Orcha Hadash Al Zion Tawir. V'Niskechulanu B'Hera Li'orav. Baruch Atah Adonai Yotzer HaMiyarav. Bonnie, can you start me off on the Avo Rabbah? Rabbah. Ahava Rabbah. Ahavtanu. Ahava Rabbah. Ahavtanu. Ahava Rabbah. Ahavtanu. Second paragraph. V'ha'oerinenu b'toratecha v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha v'yachei levaveinu v'yahava u'yirah et shemecha v'lo nevash le'alam v'awed v'lo nevash le'alam v'awed ki b'shem ha'adshecha ha'gadol v'hanora b'tachnu Nagila v'nismecha Nagila v'nismecha v'shuatecha Ha'avihiyenu l'shalom me'arba kanfot ha'aretz v'tolichenu kol b'mihiyut le'artzenu Ki el poel Yeshua data uvanu b'charta mikolam v'lashon v'kerav tanu l'shimcha hagadol sela b'yemet v'hodot lecha uyachedcha b'yahava Baruch atah Adonai Avochem Bama Yisrael b'yahava Hail Melech Ne'eman Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malkuto V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha V'chol levavecha, v'chol nafshecha, u'v'chol me'otecha, v'hayu advarim po'elad, asher anochi mitzvah, hayam levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'divartam bam, v'shiftecha b'veitecha, u'v'lechtecha b'derech, Uveshachbecha, uvekumecha, ukshartam liot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totacha peinenecha, uchtavtam, amezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, v'hayam shemoni. Yomer Adonai Moshe Rabbeinu Tzitzit. Uschartem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem lotam lo tatu ruchem v'bachmeni. Asher otzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim li'avochem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem emet v'yasu v'nacham. Ledar vadar hu kayam ushmo kayam chisonachon machuto v'emunato lo'ad kayam ben v'dvar kayam ben shatahu aheinu v'elohei avoteinu Malkeinu melech avoteinu Go aleinu, go el avoteinu Yotzreinu tzur Yeshuateinu Hodeinu matzileinu me'olam shemecha Ein Elohim zulatecha We're on page 114. Ezra Davotenu Atzavume Olam. Though you abide at the pinnacle of the universe, your just decrees extend to the ends of the earth. End of that first paragraph. Ram Vanisa Gadol Venora Mashbil Gayim Makbi Ashifali Motsiasirim Fodana Bibiozer Dalin Yona Liamo Nama Yisrael Biet Shabam Ela Shilot Lealayam Vara Moshe Ben Israel Chanushira Simcha Rabba V'Amru Kulam Michamocha Boelim Adonai Michamocha Nedor Bar Kodesh Nahor Shira Chadasha Shekugol Shivasvat Hayam Yachar Komorovim Licho V'Amru Adonai Yimloch V'Yalam V'Awed. Right after this, we're going into 115b. Sur Yisrael, Koma V'Yezrat Yisrael, Ukdei Kenumecha, Uda V'Yisrael, Go Aleinu, Adonai Yisrael, Midosh Yisrael, Baruch Adonai, Go out Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotzeinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor, HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zoker Chazdei Avod, U'mevi Goel, L'man Shema Obriah, Melech Ozer Foked, U'Moshiach U'Magin. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Foked Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, V'chayei Meitim Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatzal, V'chalkel Chayim, V'chesed Meitim, V'ramim Rabim, Noflim, V'rofei Kolim, Umatzir Asurim, Umekayim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Val Kivurot, Umito Melech, Melech Meimit Umekayim, Umatzliach Yeshua, V'nemanat Alachayot, Baruch atah Adonai, V'chayei HaMeitim. Page 116. V'karesh Shemcha Ba'olam, Shesharak Yishmotav V'shmei Maram, Kakatu V'yad Neviyecha, V'karezeh Elzeh V'yamar. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzvaot, Melech ha'aretz Tzvaot. As B'kol Rosh Gadol, Nimatam Baruch Yom, Baruch Yevod Adonai Mimkomo, Mimkomo Malkeinu, Malkeinu Tofiyah, V'timloch Aleinu, Kimechakim Anachnu Lach, Matai Timloch, Timloch B'tzion, V'kal B'yameinu, V'karal B'yameinu, V'olam V'oed Tishkan, V'karal B'yameinu, V'karal B'yameinu, V'olam V'oed Tishkan, Tikadal v'tikadash v'to Yerushalayim Yirka L'dor v'dor Ol Netzach Netzachim V'einecha Adavor Awamur B'shirei Yuzecha Hayidei David Mashiach Tzidkecha Yemlo Adonai Le'olam V'dovadona Yigdalecha Netzah Netzachim Kedushacha Nagdish Yisracha Wahinu Kino Mishlolam Vawed Yamelch Edom Kedashata Baruch Adonai Oel HaKadol. The rest of the day we get to ourselves, we'll pick up Yishmach Moshe in about 5 minutes. On page 117. Yismach Moshe b'matnat. Yismach Moshe b'matnat. Yismach Moshe b'matnat. B'matnat le'elko. Ki eved neman. Ki eved neman karatalo kelil tiferet v'rosho natata Yismach Moshe b'matnat Yismach Moshe b'matnat Yismach Moshe b'matnat V'yamdo lefanecha al har Sinai U'shnei luchot avanim Horid v'yado Yismach Moshe b'matnat Yismach Moshe b'matnat Yismach Moshe b'matnat V'chatu b'hem Shimi Abba V'chein katu V'toratecha Yismach Moshe b'matnat Yismach Moshe b'matnat Yismach Moshe b'matnat V'shamu b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat לעשות את השבת. אותם ברית עולם יהיו בין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשת את השמים וביום השביעי שבת on page 120. Lie, die, 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 lie, die, die, lie, die, 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 lie, die, 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 lie, die, die, Sim shalom tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim ba'olam Aleinu v'yako Yisrael Aleinu v'yako Yisrael amecha Barchenu avinu kulanu ki echad kulanu ki echad V'yar panecha ki v'yar panecha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu Torah chayim v'yavat chesed Tzedakah bracha v'rachamim v'chayim v'shalom V'tov v'yenecha levarech et amcha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol eit u'b'chol sha'ah b'chol eit u'b'chol sha'ah b'shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai Baruch atah Yisrael b'shalom. Kaddish of completion is on page 138. Yikra v'yikra shemei rabbah. Yom lichmachutei v'chayekon v'yom echon v'chayekon v'agol v'zman karev yemru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mibarach Barak yishtabach v'yipoar v'yitruma v'yitnasei Yitadari Klan Klash Medikucha, Yakul, Leon Kabakata, Vishirata, Tishkata Nechamata, Tamir Bialam Yamru, Amen. About Sultan of Botan, the Chayisrak and Rishmai Bin Ramen, Heshlam Rabba Mishmai, Yavacham Leno, Chayisra Bin Ramen, Osa Shalom Bin Rama, Yasa Shalom Leno, Yako Yisrael, Yamaru, Amen. So we are in our series of Pirkei Avot, the ethical teachings of our ancestors, from page 274. We're in the part, it's called the fours. In other words, the chapter 5 has, if you look on page 272, things that have 10 in it Groupings of 10, like the world was created by 10 utterances, 10 generations from Abraham to Noah, from Adam to Noah. There are some sevens on page 273, 7 characteristics that typify the clod, and 7 the wise person. And now we're in the 4s. So 10, 7, 4, we're moving down as we move through chapter 5. So these are things that are connected by having 4 possible options. So we're on 13, 274, chapter or paragraph 13, Mishnah number 13. I'm looking for a volunteer to read the 4 types of temperament.
There are 4 kinds of temperaments. Those who are easy to provoke and easy to appease. Their gain is canceled by their loss. Those who are difficult to provoke and difficult to appease. Their loss is canceled by their gain. Those who are difficult to provoke and easy to appease. They are saintly. Those who are easy to provoke and difficult to appease. They are scoundrels.
Very good. I couldn't have said it better myself, because I couldn't do that dramatic reading. So there are 2 options in terms of how easily you are provoked. Does it say never provoked? It's difficult to provoke. Eventually, somebody can just provoke you too much. But if you're able to, it would be very nice if it took a lot to get to provocation. And then how do you come back? How do you get yourself back to normal? Are you going to be easy to get back to normal, or is it going to be very difficult? So obviously, it would be optimal if it was very difficult for you to fly off the handle, because fly off the handle actually just means pretty precipitous, very difficult for you to get upset. And it would be wonderful if it was very easy for you to get back. But there are not a lot of people like this, and we call them saintly types. Those who are difficult, easy to provoke, easy to appease. The gain is that they're easy to appease, but their loss is that they're easy to provoke. They still fly off the handle, they create scenes. We don't need that, we don't want that. Those are difficult to provoke, but it takes them forever to get back to normal. So their loss is canceled by their gain, in a sense. Maybe this is a little bit better, but not much. Difficult to provoke, easy to appease, that's optimal, but there are not a lot of them, that's why we call them saints. And finally, easy to provoke and difficult to appease is the world's worst situation, because they're always walking around angry. What are you angry about? Somebody insulted me 2 weeks ago. So you got to be very, very careful that you don't have that kind of a situation where where you have that. Can you work on yourself? Yes, you can. I mean, this is something that we're trying to tell people that there might be a better way. So you have to look at yourself in your own hearts. Don't tell me what's in your own heart about yourself, but tell me a little bit about, anybody have anything that you can tell me about someone who's had some difficulty getting to the saintly state? Does this remind you of anybody? You can be very vague in who it reminds you of. I once had a boss is a good way to start, because you've been working, your work life was 40 plus years, so I won't know who your boss was. I once was living with someone who was like this. Nobody can relate to any of these?
My sweetheart is living with someone who is like this.
Right.
We don't know this side of that someone.
We don't see this. So which one of the four subtypes? Remember, you have appease, easy, appease, hard, provoke, easy, provoke, hard. Which one of the four?
I am blessed to be married to one of these few saintly. He achieves his calm.
When I'm around people like that, because I certainly haven't achieved it yet, it makes me want to be a better person. I think that's the key thing. You see it and you say, maybe I could do that. Maybe I won't take offense as easily as others, as I've been, taking offense up to this particular point. Yeah.
You know what I find though, when I find that people are the last, I am not saying I succeed, but I do my best to try to go the next step up and not join them. And hopefully support them in going higher.
When someone's in your face,
Right?
you have two options. You can go right back at them, or you could just decide that I'm not going to escalate the situation.
Right.
And I think that would be the toughest,
Mm-hmm.
the toughest to do, because everything gets heated, and it's if you don't give fuel to this other person, it could be the end of the incident.
Mhm.
All right. So I take it our guest of honor isn't here? Should we still go ahead with the Torah service? We have to, right? I know he likes to come for the meal, but
Where's California? Los Angeles.
He must be on the way because he doesn't answer the phone. So can you entertain us by phone?
You can tell jokes. Oh, well then tell us. Yeah, but Shabbat, you know. Because California is yours.
There you go.
Did you just play the earthquake? You just flipped quake?
No,
we were experiencing
experienced it. Yeah.
Oh.
Everything shake, rattle, and roll.
Are you in LA?
Yeah.
What part of LA?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Wow, that's, we live in San Diego, we have one. We were there in the 60s.
Oh.
And
We haven't had a big one in
the road in front of us split.
Wow.
Our street.
Yeah, we
We
were
were right
Yeah, right
there. We were right on it.
Yeah, the light fixtures all shook. Yeah, we were
You were in San Diego. 20 years ago. Yeah.
4 years ago.
In my university.
So in Manhattan, the neighborhood on one side. I would be here in the
Kitchen, you see the ocean and
It's not the same.
So.
Yeah. It's, there's something about, like the Ginger Rockies.
Yeah. Okay, now I think.
And I think.
Yes.
We need a minute, man. Today. More people. We don't know where he is, but.
Yeah, it's the ones that have the steps, that was it.
My cousin came from my son's bar mitzvah, which was, he grew up in the Iranians around here.
And I wasn't expecting.
Well, the husband who lives in Santa Monica, grew up in here.
Yeah, he married and she did very well. So my sister was over there.
You mean the earthquake?
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
they
it's
came
not
to
just-
my son, they were
Oh, okay. We're sort of like, we have to,
No, thanks.
it's also a reminder to get some more water.
I would say, I grew up there, and yes, we were thrilled as how to deal with earthquakes over and over.
Sure.
I remember being really thrilled as the big earthquake about 20 years ago. I woke up, I
You slept through your.
I slept through the earthquake, woke up during an aftershock, and immediately got in the family.
I don't.
Without even knowing.
Wow. So my cousin is kind of a student, and yeah, and he does. He's Japanese. I mean, he really wants to be here. Really?
Yeah.
Well, they're
They're
just,
They're like 2 minutes away.
Who do you have? My American cousin, one of my first cousins. Oh, that's right.
No, literally, they're probably 5.
Well, you probably walk by your husband.
Yeah.
To walk your dog, I'll look at the class. Yeah, it's really
Well,
fun.
you would know.
Let's do the Torah study, I guess, that I would have done after the Torah service.
All right, sounds good. We're gonna study color. Oh, just look, you peeked. Oh, yeah, that's nice. It was, I had to get it. I think it's great, yeah. Disney. Disney, I love cruise ship. I love food. I have a cruise ship. Actually, cruise ship, I have a cruise ship.
So there's the Torah reading is in the Humashim, the Eitz Chaims.
What page, I'm sorry?
I haven't announced the page yet.
Uh-oh.
And let's start with chapter, page 883, the bottom of the page. 883, chapter 20. 883, chapter 20. Bonnie, can we get you started? Or can you get us started?
My best. The Israelites arrived in a body at the wilderness of Zin, stayed at Kadesh. Miriam died there and was buried there. The community was without water, and they joined against Moses and Aaron. The people quarreled with Moses, saying, "If only we had perished when our brothers perished at the insistence of the Lord. Why have you brought the Lord's congregation into this wilderness for us and our beasts to die there? Why did you make us leave Egypt to bring us to this wretched place, a place with no grain or figs or vines or pomegranates? There is not even water to drink."
So the legend is that as long as Miriam lived, people had enough water, because in honor of her saving her brother Moses and putting him in the basket and all, water and Miriam have always been interrelated. In fact, in some seders, there's not only a cup for Elijah, which is a cup of wine, but there's a cup of water for Miriam on the seder table. So as long as she was alive, there was always a well that would always crop up. Not only, I mean, when they normally went through the desert, you think the desert having just no water at all, but there's always some oasis that they could camp around. But that wouldn't be enough for hundreds of thousands of people, so there was always an additional well. And as soon as Miriam dies, the well didn't continue to always crop up when when they moved to the next place. So they're saying, it'd be better to be dead. If it's, well, I don't know if you've ever been thirsty in the desert, but it's very hard to be very comfortable under those circumstances. And we are the grumbling people. There's always a complaint. I wouldn't call this easy to provoke, to use the previous lesson. I think if you think you're gonna die of thirst, the people in Korah's rebellion a few weeks back, they died instantly. Maybe that's easier than dying slowly of lack of water. All right, Andrew, you want to do some reading here?
Oh, cool. Of course, I hope we say some for Ira.
No, Ira's feeling like he's had his shot.
Oh, okay. All right. The community was without water. Did we do that one yet?
No,
Nope.
Moses.
Moses and Aaron came away from the congregation to the entrance of the tent of meeting and fell on their faces. The presence of the Lord appeared to them, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, ready? Here's my God voice.
You and your brother Aaron take the rod and assemble the community, and before their very eyes order the rock to yield its water. Thus you shall produce water for them from the rock and provide drink for the congregation.
All right, commandment. And talk about God's voice. We call it a bat kol, which is a feminine.
Interesting.
That was my female strong voice.
Okay, female strong voice. Okay.
Yes.
So
That's my scary.
the message to Moses is talk to the rock. All right. Next person that would like to read.
Moses took the rod from before the Lord. Moses and Aaron assembled the congregation in front of the rock. And he said to them, "Listen, you rebels, shall we get water for you out of the rock?" And Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with his rod. Out came copious water, and the community and their beasts drank.
All right. So
The Messiah came.
Woo!
And he said, "I have to
No, you gotta go.
That's it.
but the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust me enough to affirm my sanctity in the sight of the Israelite people, therefore you should not leave this congregation into the land I have given them. Those are the waters of Meribah, meaning that Meribah is an argument, meaning that the Israelites quarreled with the Lord, though he had affirmed. Basically, this is a contentious, problematic thing for us, because it doesn't seem that the sin is equal to the punishment. It feels like Moses came close to what God asked him to do. He was off by a little bit. He was incensed a little bit by these people, these quarrelsome people. And so he hit the rock instead of he talked to the rock. It's still a miracle. Why is it that this moment, this particular moment, God says, I'm done. I'm done with you, Moses. You can't lead the people you don't deserve to bring them into the land, that you've been with them for 40 years, 40 plus years, because we take 40 years in the desert and we take them in Egypt. You've been their leader for 40 years. You should, I thought you could get this reward, but you can't. You've shown that you're not. I think it's a very, very severe punishment for a mild infraction. So I want to know if anybody has any thoughts about this, pro or con. My thought that Moses was not. Yeah.
I would think it means that God thinks that one must observe every word, every nuance of every word.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he is essentially done with the Jewish people. And that may be why we have had so much trouble in all these centuries since then, because we haven't observed every single word, every single comma, every single semicolon. That's the only thing I can draw from it as to why such a severe punishment should be meted out for what is, as you say, a small infraction.
Anybody have any other thoughts?
Maybe God thought it was time for new leadership. This idea of like Moses sort of like serving a term or two as
Yes.
like leading these people out, but as they transition into a new way of being, that they needed someone else.
It's really what the commentaries that agree with you have said. It's not this one incident. It's sort of an excuse in a sense. It's been building. Moses has been exasperated by these people. His ability to withstand their nonsense, because what we hope, you're saying, Ira, that we're always been subject to such severe criteria that it's almost unfair in a sense, but Moses is held to the very highest standard. So he has to be at that top percentile. And this was just another incident added to a number of other incidents where Moses says to God, I can't handle these people. He at the beginning of there's another time where he says, Eicha esol levadi, tarchachem u'masachem u'rivchem. I can't take it anymore. So God knows that Moses needs an out, in a sense. And even though it's all this formal dance that they have to do, where God doesn't say one morning, I think you're done. It has to be an incident. The incident doesn't matter as much as the fact is, and he's 120 years old, even older than Jim. So he's 120 years old. He just doesn't have the patience anymore to do this, and it's time to pass the torch. So this is not a Joe Biden thing at all. Don't go anywhere with that with me, because I'm not supposed to bring it into the modern age at all. It's just that your time came, it went. Now we're ready for new leadership. We need Gabaim. We need people to turn to page 139. We need Andrea to come up and lead the Torah service.
Alright. If they come, I can always trace them. Well, Rich said he was, but he's gone, so I'm gonna go on with that.
Page
139.
139. Ein kamocha ba'Elohim Adonai v'ein k'ma'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'vishtatzecha b'chol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai hosea lo yiteh Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom Rachamim Etiva betzon ha'etzion Tinei ramot Yerushalayim Tinei ramot Yerushalayim Ki levav le'anatanu Melech el-ram v'nisa Vayehi so Aharon, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, V'yafusu boitecha, V'yanutsu Mitzrayecha, V'yanecha, Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah, Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah, U'devar Adonai Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Le'amot Yisrael, B'kedushat Torah.
Page 142, let's just flip ahead where it says Birkat HaGomel. This is a blessing that you can make after you've gone through a surgery, an illness, whatever danger you might have been in, car accident that you came out of, not too badly scuffed up. So I say the first three lines and on the left-hand side, and you say the next two lines. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, who rules the universe, showing goodness to us beyond our merits, for bestowing favor upon me.
May God,
who has been gracious to you, continue to favor you with all that is good.
Mishak Molani Kol Tov, Hu Yigmol Lechem Kol Tov Selah. We're at Be'ana Rachetz on page 140, that second paragraph.
Be'ana Rachetz, V'lishmei Kadisha, Kadisha Yadira, Ana Emar Tushbecha, Be'ana Rachetz, Be'ana Rachetz, V'lishmei Kadisha, Kadisha Yadira, Ana Emar Tushbecha, Yehei Rama Kadama, V'tikinali V'yorata, V'tachim Shamim V'levi, V'livadechol Man Yisrael, V'tavu Chayim V'lishma. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadol Adonai iti, v'roma mashmo yakav. Lecha Adonai hagidula, v'hagidula, v'hatiperet, v'hanetzach, v'hamod. Ki kol hashamayim u'ma'aretz, ki kol hashamayim u'ma'aretz.
Yimitzion takes a Torah, Yimitzion takes a Torah, Udevar Adonai miYerushalayim, So we're on page 890, we're at sentence 16. Umisham be'era. 890, sentence 16. V'yazor v'yogem yashir l'chalach zimbo v'nomar amen. Akol havu godol lehem usnu kavod la'torah.
Yamod Israel ben Hershmeah Kohen Stabuma.
Baruch shenatan Torah Elohim Yisrael mikdushato gatem adveikim v'Adonai Elohechem chayim kulchem hayom. Right there.
Who has Adonai Hamarach?
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam. Asher B'Kabonu Mikol Ha'amim V'Nesamanu Esteroso. Baruch Adonai Nosein HaTorah.
Amen. Misham be'era Ki ha'be'er Shamar Adonai LeMoshe Etzok V'Sam V'Etna Lahem Mayim. Az Yashir Yisroel Az Ashir Hazo Sali Be'er Nula Be'er Chafaru Asarim Karun Nivayam V'Mechokek V'Mishan Osam Umimidbar Matzana.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam. Asher Nasamanu Torah Emes V'Kayolam B'Tavis Opinu. Baruch Adonai Nosein HaTorah.
Yamod Yaakov ben Yisrael Halevi V'Chana.
my support team.
We're on page 890, line 19.
Hey,
No win.
I got everybody.
Absolutely.
That's right.
They're all here? Okay. You guys ready?
Totally, ready.
Okay.
Born ready.
For who it is, I don't know.
Adonai Havarach Le'olam Vaed.
Melech haolam, asher b'chorban mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato, baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Umi batara nachliel mi nachliel bamos umi bamos hagai asher b'snei moav rosh hapiska v'nishkafa al pnei haishimon v'yishlach Yisrael malchim el sikol melech ha'amorim le'mor. Is over there?
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go on, you gotta start.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
I'm gonna dismiss them.
Now, they can stay up here for just one more minute, all right? All right, so Mishaberach, Avoseinu, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. Please bless Jim, who's ascended today to honor God, the Torah, and Shabbat, and thank God for all the blessings bestowed upon him from the day of his birth until today. May Hashem protect him from all diseases, from all illnesses, and bless him with a long life filled with good health and love. May Hashem send blessings and success in all his endeavors, and let us say, Amen. Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov.
You're dismissed.
No, they're not, they go with you. Sorry. Not dismissed. Don't you need them up here? Stay here, guys.
Jim, where are you going?
Yeah, go
Jim,
Jim.
you shouldn't dismiss yourself. Stay up here for another minute.
You want to stand here or not? I'm not going any further.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. You're close enough.
We're on page 891, line 22.
Yamod, Shishi, Ruvain, Leib, then Mordechai. Did he leave again?
Almost.
Or who at Adonai Hambarach. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Vaed. Baruch Atah Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen. Evra v'yartzecha lo niteh b'sadeh u'b'cherem lo nishteh me'bi'er v'derech hamelech elech ad asher na'var gvulecha lo nasan sichones Yisroel avor b'gvulo v'esav sichones kol amo v'yitzeh likras Yisroel hamidbara v'yavo yatza v'yilachem b'Yisroel v'yakeu Yisroel l'fi korav v'yirash es artzo me'ar non yavo Abnei Ammon ki az gevul b'nei Ammon. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Now you really got that.
We're on page 891, line 25.
Talmud Revi'i. Barbara.
Keep it.
You do it, the two of you together?
Yeah, sure.
Yamdu Revi'i.
It's terrible, no.
Name the Hebrew name?
Vashachana.
Vashachana. Then Yisrael.
What's your name?
Hannah Rachel.
I gotta look it up.
What's your name?
That's it.
Hannah
No, that's her name.
That's mine.
Yeah,
Hannah
yeah.
Rachel, yours.
Your name.
My
Yours.
name?
Yeah.
Aaron's up.
But Ara Vashachana.
We're going to make a Mishaberak for all those who are ill in need of healing. Mishaberak, Avoseinu, Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka, Rachel Leah, v'Yivarech, v'Yiracheh, Zacholim, Sila, Bas Leah, Bas Freda, Bas Mindel, Cheryl Hogan,
Mark Levine.
Patricia Stewart, Ralph.
Rhoda Jerry Cohen, Arlie Mark Fox.
Who left it?
Bob Hawkins.
Nathan Moore.
Robert Conlon. Eileen Cleaver.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yolai Rachem Aleim, Lachsikan Lapazav, V'yishat Lehem Refuah Shlem L'Chol V'Aram Gidon, V'Tov Shachal Yisrael Refuah Sanefesh Refuah Sagub, Shabbasim Elizak Refuah Krov Lavo, Hashtachal B'Zman Karib, and Omar Amen. So again, we're on page 891, and I think we're at sentence 25, right?
Yes, 25.
So take this and kiss right where the pointer is. Baruch.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch
Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayikach Yisroel es Gorim away left Vayeshiv Yisroel b'chol arei ha'mori v'cheshbon b'chol b'nafsecha ki cheshbon yirsika melech ha'mori ki v'hu nilcham b'melech Moav harishon vayikach es kol atzah miyado ad Arnon al ken yomru hamoshli im ba'u cheshbon yiboneh v'sikonein yirsika. Take this, kiss over you there.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, b'chayei olam nasa b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Move over.
We're on page 891, line 28.
We're on Hamishi. Yamud Hamishi. Chaim ben Avraham Boleh.
Baruch Hu es Adonai Amvorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Amvorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'naseh lanu es Toraso. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. Yeshua Tzamech Heshbon. Mikir Yiddish. It's Hebrew. Leitim of Nasav Bashal Reisichon. Vaniram Avat Heshbon Adikon. Vanashim Adnofach Asher Admei Tra.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher nasa lanu Toras emes, v'chei olam notah b'sachenu. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Yamud Shishi. Rivka bat Avraham Basara.
We are on page 892, line 31.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu min kol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayeshev Yisrael b'Eretz Hamori. Vayishlach Moshe l'Ragel es Yaser. Vayekidu b'Noseha. Vayorish Hamori Asher Sham. Vaychnu vayalu derech Habashan. Vayetzeyav melech Habashan Nikrasan. Hu v'chol amo l'milchama edrei.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
We're on page 892, line 34.
Talmud Shvi'i. Cindy. I don't know your name. Excuse me? It's just Yafa. Yafa. Fits. Thank you. Ellie? Ellie. Yes.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'chakonu mikol ha'amim, v'natam lanu et torato, baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Adonai Moshe al Tiroso ki v'yadecha anasat yoso v'yeskalamo v'yesartso v'yasiso lo kasher asiso l'sicha melech hamori asher yoshev v'cheshbon v'yaku oso v'yespana v'yeskol amal adilti yishir lo osarid v'yirash esartso v'yirshu esartso v'yisu b'nei Yisrael v'yachanu barvos moav v'yever layardain yerecho.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan לנו Torah emes v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu, baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yikaravi Tashmei Rabba, Rabbi Rock, Risheva, Propheteva, Kayfenu Yochenu, Beit Yisrael, Bagoz, Makurvim, Ramein. Eshmei Rabba, Mavarach, Dolomai, Rapis, Rapis, Barbit, Rapis, Nasei, Yitadavi, Flush, Many Christian Barik, okay, let me cover Chata, Vishirata, Shikata, Nachamata, Yom Yomavim, Ramein.
Talmud Matir, Nitzabat Menachem Ubatya Halevi.
So we're back at sentence 34.
Page 892, line 34.
Moves ahead. Vayomer.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai Moshe al Tiroso ki v'yadecha nasat yoso v'yeskalamo v'yesartso v'yasiso lo kasher asiso l'sichon el chamori asher yoshev v'cheshbon v'yaku oso v'yespana v'yeskalamo abdilti yishir lo osarid v'yirshu esartso v'yisu b'nei Yisrael v'yachenu barvos moav me'ver layardain yerecho.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Yamud Ha, are we ready? Yamud Hava Yitzchak ben Abraham Basara Talmud Galila Chana bat David v'Chaya Sora. Okay.
If you're able to, we rise. V'zot HaTorah asher Moshe l'fnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
Hallelujah.
Etzayim Lamazayim Betzal So today we're honoring, I believe it's Harry Wolf, do I have that right? And Jim Eisenstock, for being part of what's called the Greatest Generation. People have written about this, but Tom Brokaw, if you remember Tom Brokaw from NBC, he's the one that popularized this term of the Greatest Generation, the men and women for whom the common theme is self-sacrifice. And so I've read up a little bit about this, and I just want to tell you a little bit of what I picked up from various sources, that there are 5 characteristics of people from this Greatest Generation, and sorely we have been moving away, further and further away from this kind of self-sacrifice generation. Our current way of thinking about things is it's nice if somebody else sacrifices, but it ain't gonna be me. And it's what's really wrong with our society right now. So the first thing about this Greatest Generation is that they took personal responsibility, because leadership can only come from someone who has a deep sense of personal responsibility. And I think what we could call our current age is the age of blame. She's the reason, he's the reason that things aren't going well. Nobody puts a hand on their chest at the end and saying, no, this is my responsibility, I did wrong, what can I do to fix it? We don't have that anymore. It's a generation that taught us humility, because in that day there was an expected norm of dignity and modesty, allowing society to hold itself to a higher standard. I mean, this was the generation that made it through the Great Depression, the generation that made it through the war, even if they were back at home and melting down their fences so that the nation could have stuff to make war with. They gave up a lot. This is the generation that came back after World War II and built up this country and made it a great country. And again, we're starting to take steps away from that, which is just awful. There's a generation that had a work ethic. At that time, not working was not an option. Today we have many with hands which are idle, and that leads to complacency and entitlement. The most that their hands do is play video games, but actually putting their hands out to do hard work is something that you hire somebody to do that. This is a generation that was prudent with their savings. This is contrasted with the current concept of it's okay to go into debt. The government does it, we can do it, we can go into debt because I need that newest toy. And this is a generation that had a faithful commitment. There was a commitment, loyalty to a spouse, to a job. And I know jobs are not as loyal to their workers today as they were, but spouses could be. And this whole concept that we're leaving behind, that's a characteristic of this generation of loyalty to your spouse, loyalty to your country, loyalty to your job. So, Harry and Jim, we're proud to have you as our role models. Thank you for coming today. We're on page 182 of our CDRM. Ein Eloheinu, Ein Kadomeinu, Ein Kemokeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Michaeloheinu, 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 Michaemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adoneinu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shetiru, Avoteinu, Lechanecha, if you're able to, we rise on page 183 for the Oleinu. Oleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateitim lo yotzer Bereshit, shelo asanu minayei haratzot, velo samanu kimishkot ha'adama, shelo samkavenu lahem, v'yor aleinu k'chol ha'anam, v'anachnu korin, u'mishtachavim u'modim, l'fnei melech, malchei hamlakim, hakadosh baruch hu. The rest of the page to ourselves. Okay, L'takin olam b'malchut Shaddai, to make the world a better place. Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimlach li'olam va'ed. George Sykes for this past week have been for Barnett Goldberg, Louis Horowitz, Seymour Lieberman, David Housen, Jeffrey Oss, Felix Brower, Doris Levin, Mary Epstein, Samuel Greenspan, Marilyn Kaplinsky, Joseph Goldenberg, Harold Capel, Reba Seaver, Isidore Elfman, Sarah Epstein, Zikra Nam Libracha, may their memory be for a blessing. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 184. Yit Gadal, Yit Gadal, Beyond Mad, Iraq, Irutei, Beyond Lichma, Futei, Bechaye Kon, Yom Ekon, Bechaye Dechol, Beis Yisrael, Bad Allah, Uzman Karev, Yibru, Amen. Yehi Shech Yolam, Omer, Yitzvarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitzhawar, Ramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitzhatar, V'yitzhaler, V'yitzhawash, May the Pusha B'richu, Omer Chatzah, Yibru, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'Ramav, v'yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen.
Joan?
We spoke about, Max spoke about the greatest generation. It is my pleasure to give the second celebration that's happening today, which I think is the reason that our room is so full, and it's wonderful to see all of you here to celebrate with Jim. So it is my very great pleasure to bring to the microphone the birthday boy.
Wager Mullins about 4 or 5 pages. Let me assure you, not at all. First of all, Joan, I want to thank you very much for recognizing the oldest member of the congregation, Sons of Zion. And Buddy Resnick and Marge sponsored a meal for me. I guess they figured I needed a meal. And anyway, you will be benefactors of a very nice kiddush after my 16 pages are over. Buddy had incidentally had a great affinity for the greater generation, and he mouthed it often, and everybody knew it. The war we're talking about, there were 17 million and more Americans, men and women, who wore the uniform of America. The nation itself as a whole has pulled itself together, and they manufactured and made all of the pieces of war that we needed. Amongst that situation, the War Department issued to 3 airplane manufacturers to manufacture bombers. They did. They created 16,800 B-24 bombers. During the war, there were many young men who became aviators. And amongst them were 3 men, Sid Paul, myself, and Harry Wolf. And the winds of war threw us together, and we wound up here at the Sons of Zion congregation. And we were not standby people during the war. And we were not standby people when we're here at the Sons of Zion. We participated fully, all three of them. Sid and I together flew 51 combat missions over Europe. Harry flew in the Korean War. And the War Department did order the RC-47, a reconnaissance aircraft. The B-24s that Sid and I flew, well, we reached about 23,500 feet. Temperature was anything between 23 and 30 degrees below zero. We had an airspeed of approximately 165 miles per hour with a loaded aircraft. Harry's aircraft, the reconnaissance aircraft, flew 36,000 feet in the air. Their airspeed was 365 miles per hour. They didn't have to wear the heavy stuff that we wore at the altitude. They just had ordinary clothes. Their cabin was pressurized. Ours wasn't. So when the three of us got together, as we often did, Sid and I would once again, over and over again, as we did, we told Harry about the no virtues of the B-24, which was called the flying coffin. So when Sid and I got all through BSing each other, Harry, gentleman Harry, very calmly said, well, the reconnaissance aircraft I flew, we went up to 36,000 feet and we put full throttle to it. And we had the pressurization. And furthermore, he would say, I know you guys had a lot of empty ammunition cases in the Bombay. Not us, we had toilets. True story. At 9 o'clock this morning, I spoke to his daughter, Robin. Harry is not doing well. His mission is not completed. And very sad to talk about it. I am very proud that the three Jewish boys that I'm talking about, all three of us, received the Distinguished Flying Cross. And all of us, all three of us, received a number of other decorations. I want to say that I very much appreciate all of you being here this morning. We've got a great repast. Buddy loved to eat. Oh, I'm sure he made some exceptions to the ordinary Kiddush. And I do want to thank you all again for being here for my birthday. And also, although many of you probably did not participate in the greater generation, some of us are still left. Thank you very much. Thank you, Joe. I was kind, I left off 15 pages.
Hard act to follow. I know that we are all delighted to be here today with you and to share your birthday, which is actually tomorrow, so you get to do 2 days. And to honor the greatest generation. I just have a couple of announcements. The first thing I'd like to do is thank Max for a wonderful service, and it really, your first Shabbat back after not being, after some surgery, so you're looking wonderful, and we're very happy to see you. And you can even enjoy some food, which is great. And just a couple of short reminders. I'm going to begin with the good ones. Our next renewal service, I know we're going into August, but just keep it in your head, is August 17th. That will be the Shabbat of August 17th. And I think many of us have come to look forward to that service. And the following day, it will be our Sons of Zion famous picnic. And this year, that's going to be in East Hampton at Nonotuck Park. And with the help of Stephen Lois Levin, we look forward to a wonderful picnic. So that should be a terrific weekend. And on the sad side, a person whom I know the name, but I don't know the person, but some of you might, Min Lipson, whom I understand is a part of the Elfman family. But she's been a member of Sons of Zion for a very long time. The last few years she's been living in West Hartford. But she passed away last week, and her funeral is going to be on Monday. Monday at the synagogue at 1:00 in the afternoon will be Min Lipson's funeral. And so just people who would want to be aware of that are aware of it. And we'll be sending something out as an email tomorrow as well. So with that, I would just invite, when you go downstairs, one thing I would like to say, the challah that you'll be enjoying was baked right here. And it's part of a group that meets once a month here. And I see some of you bakers in the congregation this morning. And people are always welcome. But the challah was baked by what we call the challah chavurah. And it meets once a month. And we're looking forward to the challah that we're having today. And we are turning now to page 187, and Max will lead us in a Gemara.
I thought we should do something in a patriotic vein. You'll catch on very quickly. I sing, oh beautiful for spacious skies. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nifra. Li'eh kasa v'chesed Azai melech shemo nikra. V'acharei yimlok takov levato yimlok nora. Ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh v'yeh b'tzifara. Ve'hu elav v'yein Le'ham shir malach b'ra. Ve'li reshit ve'li tachlit. Le'ha'oz le'ham yisra. Ve'hu eli ve'chai go'li. Ve'sur hevli v'etzara. Ve'hu nisi u'manosi. V'yado akiruni Adonai, Elohim, Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Tzeren Kol Yitzim Nivra, Li'ein Nasa B'Chefzecha, Azai Melech Shimon Nivra. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat Yeah, but I know we transmit live, stream live. Yeah.